Welcome to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, the show that takes you behind the law and answers your toughest legal questions.
Welcome back to another edition of Behind the Law with Justin Clark. We're continuing last week's discussion about foreclosures, short sales, and the need for Congress to act so that you don't pay taxes on the shortage if you go through a short sale. And we're going to talk about a little bit more about insolvency this hour. So we hope that you'll stay tuned.
I didn't shave today, first of all, so I apologize in advance for that,
right.
for the TV
did.
people. But I'm happy the radio audience was able to join us now as well. What we were talking about is the Mortgage Debt Relief Act. It's something we talked a lot about last year. It's the Mortgage Debt Relief Act of 2007. And this is a very important law for very, very many people, because if you were getting foreclosed on, if you are getting or having a short sale done, if you're doing a deed in lieu, there's going to be some debt forgiven. And if that happens, if the debt is forgiven, you're going to get a 1099-C, which means cancellation of debt, and you're going to have to deal with it when you do your tax return. However, the Mortgage Debt Relief Act says if it's your primary home, you do not pay taxes on that forgiven debt, but that expires at the end of this year. I have just predicted that it's going to be extended again. However, let's say it's not. How do we avoid the taxation on it? It's by proving that you're insolvent. And we're going to go to line one, Pam Henley. Pam, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Justin. I'm great.
Great to have you on. You've never been on the show with me, I don't think, right?
I like this.
I love it. Now,
This is the first. For
She
sure.
sounds like a very friendly CPA, and you often think CPA, you think, oh my God, very stuffy and not very happy, oh my God, numbers. Pam, you sound like a very friendly person, and you can help us out here.
I'm going to do my best to help everybody out.
All right. So, Pam, we all understand about this Mortgage Debt Relief Act, and it could be not extended. They might not extend it, but we still have the insolvency issue to deal with. It's Publication 4681. And what does this insolvency thing mean, Pam? Can you help us out with this?
Well, basically what this means is the person will take their total liabilities and then, to put it in a nutshell, take their total assets. They subtract the two. And the number that they receive at the end, if their liabilities are greater than their assets, that's what they can offset against their 1099-C.
Okay. What's the difference in a 1099-C and 1099-A, by the way?
Well, 1099-C is the cancellation of debt, which means that the person from the bank, they are going to be responsible for the taxation on the 1099-C. 1099-A is an abandonment, which is treated differently.
Okay, I got you.
Now, Pam, we're not talking about bankruptcy here, are we? We're just talking about claiming insolvency against a tax debt, right?
Correct.
So we're not talking about running anybody down the road of bankruptcy yet.
No.
Okay,
No,
okay.
not
Just
at
trying
all.
to clarify that for our audience.
Now, let's be clear on this, too. If you file bankruptcy, you avoid this entire conversation. If you file bankruptcy, that forgiven debt, you do not get a 1099-C for. So bankruptcy, you don't have to worry about the forgiven debt and the tax issues. But any sort of deed in lieu, foreclosure, or short sale, all three of them, you have to worry about the tax issue. And one of the big differences in this insolvency calculation is in a bankruptcy, you don't include retirement accounts. However, Pam, I do believe when you're doing the insolvency calculation for a 1099-C, you have to include those retirement accounts. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. All interest, they want to know all assets.
Now, Pam, evidently you work with Justin a lot, and the great thing about Gregory and Clark is they bring all the professionals together at the table, but the homeowner has to exercise first to use the judgment that says, I think I'm in trouble, I may not be able to make my house payments, or I'm already behind, or I'm losing my job, or we're losing part of our income, wife or husband or significant other, whatever. They've got to make the first step and come to Gregory and Clark. But when they do, when do you get involved in the transaction to help them out, to give them financial advice, because evidently there are a lot of avenues people don't know about?
Well, that's true. And the sooner that we can get involved, the better. And Justin's very good about getting me in touch with his clients from the onset so that we can start our tax planning right away.
And we'll certainly continue to do that, Pam. But if someone needs to reach you now, tell me a little bit about your firm. How do they contact you? And how do they reach you?
Well, they can reach us certainly by phone. And I'm happy to provide any service I can from. Our phone number is 407-730-4892. We also have our website, which has a lot of information on it, which is allfloridatax.net.
Pam, thank you for coming on the show. Now I want you to go spend the next 4 months figuring out ways for me to write off some income, okay?
I will be happy to do that for you.
Thank you so much. No, thanks so much for coming on the show. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds great.
Time now for a break. But if you're having problems with your mortgage that could cost you your home, remember that the offices of Gregory and Clark are your one-stop shop for saving your home. Short sales, foreclosures, bankruptcy, refinancing, it's all under one roof. Call right now to 321-282-1055. We'll be right back.
You can find more Behind the Law on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Gregory and Clark, where there's plenty of past episodes with valuable information on how to save your home from the mortgage companies. And for legal advice right now, give the offices of Gregory and Clark a call at 321-282-1055. Associates are standing by. We'll be right back.
But the banks didn't know what they were doing. They couldn't keep up.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, the show that takes you behind the law and answers your toughest legal questions.
Welcome back to the show. We are Behind the Law with Justin Clark of Gregory and Clark. You can call the show right now at 855-297-9696. And, of course, you're listening on News 96.5 to our Ask the Experts programs. And you can watch this program next Saturday morning, 10 o'clock on WRDQ TV 27. Call the law offices of Gregory and Clark right now at 321-282-1055, 321-282-1055. I really never knew until now that the offices of Gregory and Clark can not only put you in touch with the greatest minds in mortgages, and you guys have the greatest minds when it comes to going through that financial minefield, which is the short sale, the foreclosure, the modification, the HAMP, the HARP. But I didn't know that you brought in a CPA in the person of Pam. I think that is a great teamwork approach, which other people don't offer.
You better believe it. And the CPA aspect of any sort of firm is incredibly important because, let's be honest, the two things that are going to happen in your life, so to speak, are death, and you got to pay your taxes at some point. And when I first started my business, I remember I got very far behind. I was an idiot, basically. I didn't know what I was doing. I got far behind on the taxes, and it becomes a nightmare to dig out from under that. And I have a lot of clients who come in who maybe are not paying their mortgage and they want me to save their house via a loan modification, or they want me to do a short sale for them. And the first thing the bank asks for from me, we need to see those 2 years of tax returns for your client. And if you don't have the tax return done, there's a very, very small chance you're going to get a modification or a short sale approved because we don't have the tax returns done. So, this is just a piece of advice from a friend here. If you're behind on filing your taxes, do it. Dig out from under the sand and get the taxes done. You're going to feel a lot better.
And one of the worst things can happen to you, because we got a call on our show a few weeks ago from somebody who said that they didn't realize that they had a tax lien on their home. So when it came about time to refinance and go to RP or whoever, they couldn't, because there was a tax lien on their house.
Yeah, if there's
you
a
better
tax
have
lien,
a good CPA.
If you have a lien against your house, getting a modification or a short sale or a refi, getting that approved is probably not going to happen either because you have the lien there. So pay your taxes. Make sure you file them. Even if you can't pay everything that you owe on time, let's at least get them filed and get on some sort of payment plan. And you know what I also see a lot of times is people who are freaking out about filing their taxes. They go see Pam, and then what do you know? They get a check back. So don't be scared. Just deal with it, and sometimes you're even going to get a check back from the government. As crazy as that sounds. You were asking me, are the foreclosures still ongoing? I don't hear anyone talking about it anymore.
Yeah, what's going on?
Are we really still in this foreclosure crisis? You better believe it. You know that this new law, the fast track foreclosure law, went into effect on July 1st of this year. But the banks didn't know what they were doing. They couldn't keep up. We are certainly seeing the foreclosures increase now. The new filings are increasing because the banks have figured out this new law and they're filing foreclosures quicker. But let me tell you what's happening. Let me tell you what's really making me crazy right now. Foreclosures are going through much faster, but they're not going through faster because of this law that was passed. They're going through faster because the courts have just decided, you know what, we're done with this. We're done playing games. We're just going in on our own volition and setting these cases for trial. So the court just literally sends out a letter, says we're going to trial on this date. Everyone's got to show up, and 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a foreclosure judgment entered against that house, against that person on that date of trial, and they're going to set a sale date. If you're doing this on your own, which I don't recommend, please, whatever you do, go to that trial. If you can't afford an attorney, fine. At least come talk to me. I'll tell you what to do if you don't have any money. I'm going to take good care of you. But if you just show up at trial and ask for 120 days, because also 9 times out of 10, the judges will give you a 120-day sale date, which gives you 4 more months to try to work out something with the bank. But the best thing to do, obviously, is just call someone like me, someone who does this kind of work, and sit down. I know me, for one, I would never charge anyone to come in and talk. I meet with about 10 to 12 families a day. I actually love that part of my job, and because it's not my life. I'm just seeing it from a neutral observer. When I hear someone's story, every time they tell me the story, I can figure out exactly what they should do. But when you're living the life and you're the one that's suffering every day because you're freaking out, it gets confusing, and you can't see the world as clearly as you can when you're talking to someone who they're not the ones that are living that life.
We're up against a break, but before we go, are you looking to buy or sell a house? Whether you're buying or selling, this very well may be the largest transaction you make in your lifetime. Don't be intimidated. The law offices of Gregory and Clark can help you with the right professionals and look out for your best interests through the whole buying or selling process from start to finish. Don't go it alone. Call the law office of Gregory and Clark right now at 321-282-1055. We'll be right back.
If you're having any legal problems that could cost you your home, remember that the offices of Gregory and Clark are your one-stop shop for saving your home. Short sales, foreclosure, bankruptcy, refinancing, it's all under one roof. Just give them a call right now at 321-282-1055, and you can schedule a free consultation. We'll be right back.
I don't think that you understand how close many people are to homelessness.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, the show that takes you behind the law and answers your toughest legal questions.
The one thing that I see as I've become very, very close, with your company and with you doing all these shows over the time, and I see this. The average person who is about to lose their home or is in fear of losing their home, that's not what they do. No. They may be a plumber. They may work in an automobile company. They may work at the mall, whatever it is, and they're trying to make ends meet. Your job, 8 hours a day, 24 hours a day, basically, right. 7 days a week since I've known you, has been help these people through it. They get on the phone, they get frustrated. You say they get homicidal or suicidal because they're talking to somebody at the bank who is reading off a script, who just calls them a deadbeat and tells them they're not paying their bills and tells them to get a second job at 7-Eleven or Walmart. And these are people who don't understand. But so they get so frustrated, and then they panic and they take it out on their family. If they would just take it to you, leave the luggage on your desk, let you carry the luggage for them, and go back to work. They'll do a better job at work. They'll be a better wife, husband, father, whatever. And you are the professional who know who to call at the bank. This isn't your first rodeo. If you're calling B of A, I bet you've called the same person at B of A over the last 3 years, if they're still there, or Sun, or Chase, and you've talked to them and built up a relationship with them. They know you're not blowing smoke.
Dealing with these banks becomes a part-time job for people. And sometimes when I'm meeting husband and wife and they're both there, husband's like, I don't know why my wife can't get this done. And I look at husband and I say, I get it. I understand why you're thinking that, because it doesn't make any sense that this should take a year to get done. But I guarantee your wife's probably spending about 4 hours a day, if not working on this issue, at least thinking about it. And most people come to see me about a year after they've been trying to do it themselves without success. Please don't try to do it on your own anymore. It becomes a nightmare. You don't know what you're doing, and they lead you to believe that the next day they're going to call you and say everything's approved, everything is good. And then the next day, Johnny doesn't work at the bank anymore, and now you're talking to Deborah at the bank, and Deborah's like, I don't even have any record of talking to you. Please don't think you're alone. They treat everyone this way. Don't feel like you're the chosen one. They treat everyone this poorly. And just don't do it yourself. It's not worth it. You need to go do something productive in your life and let the professionals handle dealing with these banks and all their nonsense.
I go back to the story that we told on this show about 8-10 weeks ago. Nothing can destroy a family quicker than something like this happening to him, and the husband tries or the wife tries. And I go back to this. Imagine you're a father, and your child says to a perfect stranger in a hotel, because I asked this young kid, about 5 years old, in his pajamas,
God,
walking through the hotel lobby, right here, right down the road from this radio station, no more than 5 minutes from here. Little kid, 5 years old. He's in his pajamas. He's eating breakfast down in the little continental breakfast room. And I said, well, you here to see Disney? You here to see, Mickey and Minnie and SeaWorld? And he goes, no, I live at the hotel. Well, why do you live here? Because Daddy lost our home. Well, better if Daddy would have contacted Gregory and Clark and let Uncle Justin take on the battle and fight the fight, and Daddy and Mommy can stay together and not blame each other for losing the house. And that actually happened. I still think about it, and it still bothers me to this day. That little kid's going to always think Daddy lost the house. Daddy didn't lose anything.
This is not a joke or a sales pitch that I'm about to do right now.
I'm telling you right now, it's crazy.
Even when we were down there doing the radiothon the other day, I don't think that you understand how close many people are to homelessness. Because the first thing that I do when I meet a new client is I get to know what sort of income they have, what assets they have. We live in Florida. A lot of people don't have family here. Their family's still back up north or in the Midwest. They moved here for the good times and the sunshine and that construction job that construction job went away in 2008.
Yeah, it did.
Most people have only a month's worth of income in their bank if they lose their job and they're going through an issue with their house and they literally have the sheriff come and say, you have 24 hours to get out. Some people don't have anywhere to go. We are very, very close to being homeless. And as scary as that sounds, I unfortunately see it every day. And so don't let some bank and their fake promises stating that they're going to help you out. Don't trust them. You go on that docket. Go on, if you're in Orange County, look at the Orange County docket, and it shows that you have a sale date coming up in your house. But Johnny over at the bank's telling you, don't worry, we're going to help you. You have a sale date on your house. And we're going to be homeless if that happens. And it infuriates me, and I've told you a million times when I have people come in my office and say, Justin, well, your client is a deadbeat. They should have paid their mortgage. Well, dude, let me tell you something. They didn't pay their mortgage because the bank told them not to pay their mortgage. And now they're not helping my client. How am I not supposed to be upset about that?
Time now for a break. But if you're having problems with your mortgage that could cost you your home, remember that the offices of Gregory and Clark are your one-stop shop for saving your home. Short sales, foreclosures, bankruptcy, refinancing, it's all under one roof. Call right now to 321-282-1055. We'll be right back.
Is your house underwater? If you owe more than your house is worth, Justin Clark may be able to get you an interest reduction through the HAMP and HARP programs. It's an easy way for you to keep your home or even just lower your monthly payments. Just give the offices of Gregory and Clark a call at 321-282-1055. There's never any charge for a consultation, so let Justin show you your options. We'll be right back.
Once a year, you need to do a review of how much you're paying for your mortgage.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, the show that takes you behind the law and answers your toughest legal questions.
Guess how many homes got foreclosed on over $5 million in 2013 in Orlando? You want to take a stab? 12. We're number 4 in the country for rich people getting foreclosed on. So if you're going through any sort of issues with your lender or you've gotten that foreclosure notice, there are 12 people, and probably Windermere, I would guess, who got foreclosed on in their houses were over $5 million.
You know, when you think about it, ratio-wise, there's not that many over $5 million houses in Orlando, so that could be well over 10% of them. It could be over 20% of them.
I wonder how many of those were ex-NFL players.
Yeah, or golfers.
I'm sure quite a bit.
Time. Or divorcing golfers.
And people keep asking me what they think about the real estate market. Is it going up? Is it going down? What's going to happen? I mean, no doubt 2013 was crazy as far as the values of houses. They've skyrocketed. I mean, just Oviedo alone was up 58% from January of this year till October of this year. Maitland, 70%, up 70%.
70%?
Now, there are some areas that haven't gone up nearly as much. I don't mean to pick on you, Southwest Volusia County, but the Southwest Volusia County area, that Deltona, Orange City area, is going up way slower. So we're still seeing a lot more of the foreclosure activity up there as opposed to some of these houses that, if you've gone up 70%, you probably have equity now. And instead of being underwater, You probably have some equity. Maitland, Oviedo, even Pine Hills has been surging lately. We don't know exactly what's going on there. Pine Hills, the values are going crazy. So we expect a more steady climb. That's what I'm seeing. Maybe even like 5 or 10%.
So if somebody a year ago couldn't qualify for a refi because they were upside down, they need to check. Maybe they're not upside down anymore.
Hey, I think you need to pick up the phone and call someone who knows what they're doing, like me, and say, just review this thing for me. Once a year, you need to do a review of how much you're paying for your mortgage. You need to see if maybe I can get a better rate. Maybe I'm paying too much for taxes. Maybe I'm paying too much for insurance. Once a year, just call my office. We'll do it for you away for free.
You talked the last show we did.
282-1055. It's free annual mortgage payment review. Everyone should do it. You look at your cell phone bill once a year, but you're not even looking at your house payment, the biggest payment, the biggest check you write a month. We need to look at least once a year. We got to check, but don't just check the interest rate. We need to check the taxes. We need to check insurance, and we need to check that principal and interest payment. And I will tell you this, housing, we're still 16% below where we were at the peak of the market. So we still have a ways to go, but it's picking up. Be careful. Interest rates are going up. I think they're also going to level out. That's sort of how I see it. I heard on the show before me they were predicting up to 5% or something by the end of next year, and that's possible. I don't think they're going to go crazy, but I think it's time now to get something locked in where because let's be honest, we're in an artificially the interest rates now are artificially low. It's because of the federal government. So they're going to go up. Whether it's 2 years, 3 years, we don't know. But they're going to skyrocket at some point.
Okay, and again, that is something that you introduced about 3 weeks ago right here on the program. And it's a new program from Gregory and Clark. And what's it called again?
Free annual mortgage payment review. Let's see what you're paying for that mortgage. It's free.
That'll wrap up our discussion. But there's still so much to talk about that could save your home. So if you have questions, give the offices of Gregory and Clark a call right now at 321-282-1055. There's never a charge for a consultation, and it could save your home. We'll see you again next week, right here on TV 27.
Thank you for watching Behind the Law with Justin Clark. Be sure to join us again next week as Justin takes you behind the law and answers your legal questions.